And so I moved to New York and I emailed the label. And at the time, I didn't know that Woods was running it. You know, I sent over a bunch of beats, all this kind of stuff. And then the main thing I did, and for everybody watching, for all my students, everybody I talked to, the main thing I did is I followed up. I sent the email when I got to New York and I didn't get a response. And it's like, oh man, did they not like my beats? Oh, blah, blah, blah. They're too big for me, X, Y, and Z. And then I followed up. And Woods has even said it in interviews. He was like, yo, the biggest thing ever happened is that Willie Green emailed twice. Because I had missed the first one for whatever reasons in life. We all miss emails.
And had you ever talked to him before emailing him initially?
Never. I wrote to, I don't know, it was 07, so Backwood Studios at Hotmail or whatever. That's not the email address anymore. And I was like, hey, I just heard Emergency Powers. I love this album. I just moved to New York. I'm a producer and engineer. I was coming down from Boston. Here are some links to things I've done, X, Y, and Z. And it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. And then I followed up and I said, hey, just want to check in, sent this stuff. And that's when they reached back out. They saw that and like, oh, well, let's get a meeting. These beats sound cool or whatever. And we've been working together for the last 15 years. Digital communication is a weird thing because you throw a message out to somebody in essentially like the digital ether and hope that they get it and hope that they get the right tone that you had, hope that they respond in a tone that you're open to because, you know, you might get an email. And I used to get frustrated when I would get emails from people about like mix revisions. Oh, I don't like this snare. And I'd be mad. What you mean you don't like the snare? And it's like, yo, you don't know you don't know what kind of day the person who wrote that email was having. They might have had a real bad day. They might have lost their job. They might have X, Y, and Z, dropped their ice cream cone. Like, we don't know. And then they write back notes on your mix. Yeah, the bass sucks. We don't know where they're coming from. Or I might have had a bad day and dropped my ice cream cone. And then I read their notes and I'm like, yo, well, this person, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, you have to take all of that
humanity
out of communication, which is the weirdest thing I think I've ever said.
Yeah.
Right? Take the humanity out of communication so you can understand what they're talking about. And none of this makes any sense, right? So learning these kind of interactions, how we interact on the internet and what all that means is important. And the biggest thing is like, don't take it personal. You know, when I didn't hear back from Backwoods at first, I'm like, well, these cats, you know, they think they're so big, X, Y, and Z. Nah, man, they just missed the email. Nobody blew me off. I didn't have to feel any kind of way. You know, you kind of have to separate that stuff.
That's good. At that time in your career, all those previous failures where they didn't respond, they prepared you to be like, all right, let's just come back and send another email. I really want to make this happen.
Yeah, because that perseverance is what it takes. You know, I had just moved to New York and I'm trying to reach out to everybody I can. I'm trying to find work in a major recording city where everybody is trying to find work. Like, it's hard. So that persistence is very important. There's a difference between persistence and annoyance. Like, I've had people reach out like, yeah, I figured I would just annoy you until you wrote me back. It's like, let's phrase that a little bit different. I don't want to be annoyed, but I've got stuff going on, you know what I mean? So you follow and you follow up and try and stay connected. And it's important to communicate with people like they're real people, you know? Like, I'm a regular person, just say what's up. You know, and I found like the biggest networking thing for me is reaching out to folks when you don't need something. If you reach out without your hand out, then it's like, okay, this is just a cool ass person. Especially like the bigger the person, the bigger the entity, the more people are probably hitting them up wanting stuff, right? But if I'm just like, hey, really appreciate your work on this, thought it was super dope, just want to reach out and say peace. And just leave it right there. It's a quick thing, probably took me 15 seconds to write it. But whoever got that message is probably like, oh shit, well that was cool. They just said what's up. You know, that's the kind of thing that I'll respond to. Oh, yo, I really appreciate that. I love that mix too, or whatever. As opposed to, yo, I really love your work. Yo, you think that I could mix a record on the next, like, why would, no. You know, like, why would I don't know you like that to like automatically just be giving my time or my energy or work or whatever. It's like, how do you interact with people? How would you interact with a person in real life, right? That's what we forget with the digital stuff. If you email me and you want something, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I do this. I'm a fan of X, Y, and Z that you've done. Hey, I need a record mixed. My budget might be low, whatever. Like, but if you come through like, yo, man, like, you think you could mix my record for X, Y, and Z? It's like, nah, because I don't even know you, and like, you just came to me asking me for a discount. Like, I don't like. You didn't even say hi. My name is. Would you do that to a stranger? Like, you just walk up and be like, yo, give me $300? No. Well, what you asked me for a discount for? Because it's the same thing, right? So just that acting like you would act with a person. If you just DM me a link to your music, I will never listen to it. If you just send me an unsolicited link, I don't know you, dog. Why do I care about your link? It's not even a reasonable thing to be like what? I got to now do research and figure out who you were and what your music sounds like to decide if I want to listen to this song. I'm not doing that. I'm doing whatever else is going on in my day. You know, just like, how do you approach people and that kind of thing? We can't forget how real people act. It's important, you know?